Okay, so it's day 3572 of Fabian being right or Marsha the Great being right. Why? Because as I suspected, these people are not going to section me until I've calmed down. They did the same shit after I attempted to kill myself twice back in Willesden Green. Like, I attempted to kill myself twice. I was the one who asked for help after the fact, but then I also let them know that I was too sick to attend the hospital myself. I left a message saying I was too sick to attend the hospital myself, so that I would like somebody to come over and check on me. Because during that time I lived in Willesden Green, I had known someone who lived just down the road from me. And when he went through a mental health episode where he tried to end his life, there were people who were coming to visit him. So I'm over here thinking, after the last two suicide attempts, back in Willesden Green, where I lived down Chatsworth Road, right? I'm thinking, if I call the mental health services myself and I say I need somebody to come down here so that I can talk to someone, so that someone can check on me, if I do that, then somebody will come down here to check on me. They did not do that. Now, I can't remember which year this is. It was definitely before, it was somewhere around 2017, 2018 that happened. So I called Brent Psychiatry, explaining to them that I was really, really sick due to the two suicide attempts and that I needed somebody to come down and check on me or come down and talk to me. And then that was like, I think in like sort of January, like it was during the winter time, as these things always are, right? It was during the winter time. So I think we're talking, no, it was definitely February, March. I remember it well. It's February, March that I had those attempts happen. And then after everything had died down, after the dust had cleared, that's when I get a prescription for medication in the mail. And I get a pathetic prescription in the mail, followed with a letter saying, if you don't take this, we are going to section you. Of course, I ignore that. And then come May time, again, 2017, 2018, then comes May time, right? And these people come over my house under a section 2 saying, if you don't voluntarily come with us yourself, you will get a section 3. They didn't make it sound like it wasn't a possibility. They made it sound like it was a definite reality that if I did not agree to go with them under section 2, then they would get me under section 3 and section me that way. So I was basically blackmailed into sectioning myself 2 to 3 months after my multiple suicide attempts. This is 2 to 3 months after the fact. And then in their report, when they wanted to write up their report about me, one of the things they made a report about was burning sage. Now stay with me, I'm going somewhere with this. One of the reports they made about me was burning sage. That was a taunt. And you know why that was a taunt? Because smudging, which I just did today, I smudged the whole place, I smudged the whole house. Didn't smudge myself, but I smudged the place, right? Smudging affects the radio frequencies that are being put on you. They cancel out some of the effects of the radio frequencies. And after that suicide attempt that I made in like February, March time, 2017, 2018, after those suicide attempts, I'd been saging. I'd been using white sage to smudge the room that I lived in at the time. And because I'd been using smudging, my the radio frequencies effect on me, they weren't as great. So them putting in there that they sectioned me for burning sage, they didn't, bear in mind, they didn't section me for my suicide attempts. They didn't section me for trying to kill myself. Even when I went to them for help after the fact, they didn't section me for that. They sectioned me for burning sage. That was part of the reason they sectioned me, for burning sage, for doing something that actually aided my mental health. Because remember, smudging your environment, it interrupts the radio frequencies, the weaponized radio frequencies that want to bring about negative emotions in you. That's why you're supposed to open your windows every day and you're supposed to smudge as often as you can, because it cancels out some of the negative frequencies that they aim at your property. This is the type of shit that these gang stalkers do. And now, after this recent incident, where everybody knows what happened, I've got video footage, I've talked, you can see, and on top of that, you can see a clear difference between how I am when these radio frequencies are on me. I'm like a child, right? You can see what happens when these radio frequencies are being used on me. You can tell the difference between then and now that I've cancelled out some of the frequencies' negative effects on me. You can definitely tell the difference. Look at the previous videos from the last couple of days and look at how I'm speaking now. Look at how I'm approaching everything now. Like an adult, like a grown up. Go back to those videos when the fucking radio frequencies, the weaponized frequencies were on me. Literally like a fucking child. Literally reduced to childlike status. And burning sage and opening the windows, especially near rural and coastal areas, because there's a lot of this, even with nature dying out because of 5G, there's still a lot of like fresh air and negative ions, not only from the like surrounding environment, but from the sea as well. So nature basically cancels out some of the effects of like weaponized frequencies and radio frequencies. It cancels out some of the effects. That's one of the reasons why they wanted to make a big fucking deal out of me burning sage. The last time I was sectioned, which was years back. And now, what they're trying to do is they're trying to make it safe for me. Translation. After that incident with the burning, right? Now they want to make the environment safe for everybody else to disrespect me without me wanting to kill anybody or without me wanting to destroy anybody's property. They want to make it easier for people to do that so that sectioning can come back around again and play more silly Billy Big Bollock shit. That's exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to make sure that they can disrespect me and still continue to tear chunks out of me without me reacting angrily enough to put literal human traffickers in danger. That's what they're waiting for. They're waiting for the coast to be clear before mental health even come down to talk to me. That's what they're waiting for. They want to risk my life. They want to risk my life, but they don't want any risk to themselves. They're quite happy to risk my life on the back of a fucking lie, protecting nonsense, but they don't want to risk their own lives to do it. This is exactly what I'm talking about when I say, us TIs, we will give our lives for the truth. And gang stalkers will take lives for a lie. This is exactly what I'm talking about when I say this. Because now I'm back to normal. Partially, the reason for that is partially because of the smudging. People think it's woo-woo shit, but it's science. It's literal science. There are plants in nature that literally emit higher frequencies than other plants because they're living things. Plants are living things. They emit frequencies of their own. Nature emits its own frequency. Why do you think when you go out and walk on the soil, it literally cools down your entire system? Because that's what nature does. Nature is a living, breathing thing. It doesn't matter whether you're talking about like a human being or an animal or a plant. They're all living things and they all have their own frequencies. And cats, why do you think cats are attacked so much? In fact, pets in general. Pets have healing frequencies. Healing frequencies that encourage and foster positive energy within human beings, and therefore impairs the ability of weaponized frequencies and weaponized radio frequencies to negatively affect you. And if they can't negatively affect you as much, they can't condition you as much. I've been saying it. I've been saying it like for years. If weaponized frequencies are cancelled out by nature, then it negatively impacts the weapons and not you. This is it. Why do you think that all the smudge sticks, all the smudging equipment, like all the white sage, why do you think, they're being shipped worldwide, but in privileged countries in particular? They only want privileged people to have access to nature, access to these things that can actually level out one's frequency. They only want the wealthy to have access to these things. They only want colonizers to have access to these things. To these things that balance out people's frequencies, that cancel out negative energy, that degrades communities, that endangers lives. I bet you that's the reason. I bet you that's the reason. Want to limit nature, because nature, even though it's preventative rather than a cure, nature cancels out a lot of negative shit. It really does. It really does. Another thing that I want to talk about is what happened on, Thursday night. And I'm reiterating this because it's important, because you have to understand exactly how this technology works. When I was, once again, I spoke to a relative over the phone and they advised I go out for a walk. Fine. I go out for a walk, go out to the beach. And the closer I get to the beach, the less angry I'm starting to feel, right? The closer I get to the beach, the less angry I'm starting to feel. I get to the beach, I stand there, I make sure I stand back so the waves don't catch me, even though it's spraying my face a little bit. I go to the beach, like this was on Thursday when that massive tantrum happened. I go to the beach, lovely. I'm feeling really, really good about life. It's beautiful. It's amazing. And I'm feeling really good. It feels fantastic. And then I'm on the bus, but the closer I get to Wooding-Dean, and in particular, the closer I get to this building, the angrier I'm getting. And I'm over here thinking, because I'm in such an emotional haze, I'm over here thinking, like I said in the video, like I said in one of my videos, I'm over here thinking that I'm pissed off that I didn't do enough damage, that I'm pissed off that I didn't cause enough pain, right? I'm over here pissed off with myself because I didn't take one of my dumbbells and crack a gang stalker in the head. I'm feeling bad about that. Here I am thinking that my anger was due to regret, when really it was due to weaponized frequencies being bombarded at the fucking property. It was negative energy being bombarded at the fucking property. That's what was going on. Like I said before, I live below some fucking clowns. I know that. But there are times when they get so angry and so obsessed, it doesn't make any fucking sense. They go crazy. Why do they go crazy? Because there are weaponized frequencies being fired at the fucking property. It's not just them. I keep telling people this. It's not just that they're cunts. Yes. But it's not entirely their fault. First of all, they're neurodivergent and they got mental health issues. When you're neurodivergent and you got mental health issues, your emotional regulation, your ability to regulate emotionally, that's already in the fucking floor. Add fucking weaponized frequencies into the mix. Catastrophe. Catastrophe. The closer I got to this house is the more that I felt fucking, the more that I felt angry as shit. And I thought it was an organic thing until I was reminded, actually, Fabi, didn't you try to help someone out? Someone whose children have been trafficked? Didn't you try to help them? And even my friend pointed it out to me. This is not you. They knew. They knew. It was the weaponized frequencies because my gang stalkers and Dorset police, they're not bright. They're really fucking stupid. They're not bright people at all. And they're making their weaponized frequencies more and more obvious. They're making their DEWs more and more obvious. Again, to the point where they incriminated themselves during the phone call I had with Pauline yesterday. Literally, the second I started talking about the tax man, that's when the drone started flying overhead, and that's when I started getting pain in here. And guess what that was for? CR1 part of the brain trying to facilitate and cause paranoid schizophrenia through brain damage. Because I got too close to the window with the fucking truth. So yeah, that's exactly what the gang stalkers are doing. Mental health want to wait until it's safe to endanger my life. So me endangering people who are working for nonces, who are facilitating not only human trafficking, but torture and genocide, that's not on. But it's okay to endanger my life at the precise time when I'm not endangering anybody. Clock it. Clock it. Clock it. It's okay for gang stalkers to try to section me when I haven't done anything wrong, when I'm actually taking active responsibility for my mental health, to the point where I'm using sage and I'm opening the windows and I'm sleeping properly and I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing. You don't want yourselves to be endangered protecting nonsense, but you want me to be endangered when I'm not endangering myself or anybody else. This is exactly what I'm talking about when I say gang stalkers do not care about perps' lives or anybody else's lives. These are the same people that will engineer whole race wars to cover up for child trafficking. And in case any of my neighbors say, oh, she's the one who wants a race war, let me point out something to you guys, okay? I'm not going to deny that shit. If the gang stalkers want a race war, I want one too. If the gang stalkers want me dead, I don't want to die, but fine. If the gang stalkers want me sectioned, that's cool too. If the gang stalkers want fucking, people's lives in danger, cool. Well, I'm with that. Where we differ is in the intent. I am quite willing to be a sacrifice for the cause of ending gang stalking and making sure every single man, woman, and child who have been subject to the torture of this program not only get off scot-free, but are recompensated with every single injury that they have sustained being targeted. I'm happy with that. I'm happy to lay myself down for the cause. I'm happy to be the villain for the cause. So, if the gang stalkers want a race war, fine. I want one too. Big black woman, tried to burn her flat. What are you gonna do? What the fuck are you gonna do? Big black woman wanted to fucking crack somebody in the head. Crack a gang stalker, not necessarily a white person, a gang stalker in the head. What are you gonna do? Big black woman burns sage and looks after her mental health and lays down healthy boundaries and does everything that she can in her power to make sure that she minimizes endangerment to everyone around her. Knowing what her mental health is set up like, what are you gonna do? Do you understand? Big black woman is trying to expose nonces, rapists, and traffickers. What are you gonna do? You want a race war, right? If you want a race war, let's go. But understand, if I call for a race war, it's not for black supremacy. Understand that if I'm calling for a race war, ultimately it's to protect the same children that you want to fucking sacrifice for white power. And yeah, I know what I said about weaponizing children. I know what the fuck I said. Like I said, I can do what the gang stalkers do. They can't do what the fuck I do. Yeah? I will weaponize children to save them. You will weaponize children to cover your fucking asses every single fucking time. And that's the difference between me and you. Big black woman was the one who tried to get herself evicted from this property so that the white family could be safe and say whatever stupid racial slurs they wanted to say without feeling like their lives were in danger. What are you gonna do? Huh? What are you gonna do? I'm awaiting, ladies. And like I said before, if I thought that sectioning was ever gonna stop me from handling gang stalkers the way they need to be handled, I would not be talking any of this shit right now. It doesn't matter how lonely I get. It doesn't matter how often I cry. It doesn't matter how angry I get. It doesn't matter how out of control I am. The purpose remains the same. Every single time. Do you understand? Do you understand now? I will do everything in my power to make sure abusers don't get away with what they do, with what they're supposed to do. Even if I do some shit that I have trouble grappling with. Even if I have trouble sleeping at night. If you think I'm about to let a bunch of fucking abusive pieces of shit weaponize something that is supposed to heal people to cover for fucking nonsense, you got another thing coming. You got another think coming. So that's what I want to know. What are they going to do? And yeah, I heard one of the neighbors call me a mad woman across the window. Because that's what you do. That's what you do. You test the waters to see how much you can disrespect a person before you can section them at the precise moment they're making everything right in a way you never could. You humiliate yourselves every single time with every single genocide in this open air Holocaust that you got. You humiliate yourself every single time with this open air Holocaust you got. And for what? And for what? I'm just sorry. I'm just sorry I won't be around to see AI fucking obliterate you evil pieces of shit. And it will. And it will. Make no fucking mistake. Because if there's one thing that I've learned about the creators and the created, the people that are created, the creations, they always destroy their masters in the end. Almost always. Whatever we create is specifically designed to help us end. And everything that's been created through the pain of targeted individuals, those same things are what helped their creators end. I'm sorry to say this, but we already saw that with Dr. Robert Duncan. The evils that you help create will fucking end you. And I'm only sorry I'm only sorry that I won't be able to see that shit, because that shit sounds very fucking satisfying. But anyway, yeah. Point of the sectioning, they're gonna wait till I calm down. They're gonna wait until I'm like incapacitated in some way, or, you know, something like that. And that's when they're gonna try to section me. They're not gonna section me now. It's too dangerous for them. They're not gonna do it now. And, you know, there's this whole thing with trying to like bring back trauma around hygiene when it comes to me, saying my room stinks and I stink. And I make sure that I handle that with some fucking sage. How about that? Sage, which is so offensive to the gang stalkers that they literally sectioned me over it and gloated about it. Yeah. I know how much you love that shit. And think of it, the last time you sectioned me, what happened? What happened? Did I quit? Did I give up? Or did my presence as a targeted individual get even stronger than it already was? Huh. Let me know. Let me the fuck know. Please. These people think they're smarter than they are, and every single time they think they're smarter than they are. It's ridiculous. And it's every 4 to 5 years with this shit, and it's always during winter that they pull this fucking crap. Always. This incident is going to be like 4 years to the last one. They're always pulling this shit. They're always pulling this shit. Anyway, I've got readings to do today. Well, one reading. And then I'm going to relax. I haven't eaten. I need another tea. Because, I'm not eating because I'm broke. That's the reason I'm not eating. It's got nothing to do with like me starving myself or anything like that. I'm not on hunger strike. Like, I'm starving, but like I'm getting paid tomorrow. So it's not a big deal. I'm just broke. That's all it is. I'm broke and I'm not very good at managing money. So that's the only reason why I haven't eaten. So I'm going to go and I will talk to you guys another time. As for my mental health state at the moment, my head is feeling like a bit foggy because there's torture going on my head at the moment. My mood, I'm still anxious, right? And it could be weaponized frequencies that are being fired at the house again, just at a lower level. I feel very anxious. I'm quite lucid at the moment. My emotions are not to the point where I'm not lucid, right? I'm still able to discern, like, different things from different things, right? Emotionally, I'm not numb, but like I'm not happy or sad. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. I've been listening to music. I've been smudging, been listening to music, been singing a little bit. So I'm kind of returning to homeostasis, but I'm taking nothing for granted right now. I'm taking absolutely nothing for granted because everything that happened, it only happened a few days ago. It's still early days. Like after a crash out like that, it's not unusual for dopamine to go up and to become more active and to even feel a little bit of euphoria. It's not unusual after an episode like the one I had on Thursday and Friday. It's not unusual to feel some kind of euphoria after that. And it's not unusual to like find some kind of normality after that. It's not unusual. So I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that I'm fine. But what I will say is that I seem to be returning to homeostasis. It's too early to tell whether I'm actually fine or not. But then again, I'm never fine. I'm being tortured to death. So I'm never really fine. But there are times where I'm better than others. So at the moment, I'm better now than I was yesterday. I was better yesterday than I definitely was on Friday. Thursday and Friday were really fucking bad because of the weaponized frequencies. But Saturday I was better, and Sunday I'm better than yesterday. So every day I'm improving, right? I am improving every day. It's something that you like when you're neurodivergent, you have mental health issues and you're a targeted individual. It's something that you really got to take your time with. So I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm out of the woods yet, but somebody was able to call me a mad woman outside and I didn't put him in check. Should have done, because I should have learned my lesson from holding in my anger. But the fact that I couldn't be bothered, the fact that I couldn't be asked, it does make me realize that I'm not as anxious or as angry as I could be, right? But I got to keep putting people in check because, yeah, I've got to keep putting people in check. Got to put them in check because if I don't do that, then we have incidents like the one on Thursday and Friday. If I don't get my anger out regularly, like these twats do, if I don't do that, then it just ends up endangering myself and everyone else. I can't have that. I've got to get my anger out now. You understand? So I'm still working on that. That's something I'm still working on. And also when it comes to the loneliness thing, yeah, I am feeling quite lonely because when you have a crash out like you have on Thursday and Friday, like those are the moments where I absolutely do not deserve comfort and do not deserve love and do not deserve empathy. Those are the moments where I don't deserve that. But those are the times where I need that the most. Those are the times when the loneliness is most acute. When you have an episode like that, especially when it's synthetic and it's brought about by a bunch of trafficking cunts who want to cover up for major crimes, that's at the time when you need the most love and affection and kindness and just skin contact, right? And not getting it, it leaves you in a really, really weird space, you know? You know, Thursday and Friday, it's the loneliest period to go through is after you have like a massive crash out like that and there's nobody around to hold you. There's nobody around to dry your tears. There's nobody around to hold you as you cry, like hold you enough to let everything out and just like, you know, or if you do get somebody who does that, they're cunts to you. Like it's just a very lonely feeling. You know, when you go through a crash out like that and there's nobody around to like to calm you down, to soothe you, to tell you it's going to be okay, you know, it's going to be all right. You're going to be okay. Because we all need that. That's the loneliest part about being a targeted individual when they do shit like this to you. There's nobody to comfort you and to hold you and to say, it's okay, I'm with you, I got you. You know, you don't have to worry about a thing, I understand. And, you know, again, I'm crashing out at a time where I deserve love the least, but it's often when you deserve love the least that you need it the most. And I've been the type of person I can't say that I didn't get it when I needed it the most. There are times where that's been the case, but it's just not now. It's not now. I'm up against MI5. I'm up against the entire country. I'm up against the entire world because I'm a TI. TI is literally TIs against the fucking world. And it's lonely. It's very fucking lonely. It's horrible. But then you gotta just get through it and you got to find ways to bring yourself back to equilibrium, like doing things you enjoy, watching things that bring about feelings of love and compassion, like maybe listening to sad songs. Listening to sad songs helps as well. You know, all that stuff, it is really crucial for your mental health as a TI. You understand what I'm saying? But yeah, that shit gets lonely as hell. Like the thing that's really been fucking with me over the last few days is the skin starvation at the precise time when you're crashing out like this. The skin starvation is real. It's fucking real. Like the loneliness you feel when not only are you not surrounded by people who are properly affectionate to you, you're surrounded by people who do nothing but lie or minimize your pain. That's probably the loneliest part. You're surrounded by people who are not honest. It's one thing for them to call you names and to be awful to you. Like, it's one thing for people to call you names and be awful, but it's another thing to lie, to invalidate the pain that you've been put through, and to do it for the most evil people known to man. Like, it puts you in a weird space. That's the loneliest part. It's not being alone. It's living in a world where you're being abused all the time and all you're ever met with is lie after lie after lie, and with people trying to treat you like you're dumb. That's the loneliest part. And yet I'm the type of person I can't, yeah, and you get punished for telling the truth too early. On top of that, I'm the type of person I can't hold things in. I have to tell the truth wherever I can, unless I have no other choice. But this world expects you to lie, and they punish you for telling the truth too early. They punish you for telling the truth at a time where it's not advantageous to people. But often the truth is the truth is most helpful when it's not of immediate benefit to someone. That's when the truth is usually the most beneficial. But nobody ever wants to listen to the truth then. Everybody always wants delays. Like, wait until I feel good. Wait until I'm ready to hear it before saying it. No. Because that's how we get individual benefit, but it costs literally the whole collective. And I get punished for telling the truth at a time that would actually benefit everyone. That's what I get punished for. That's what a lot of TIs get punished for. It just benefits people's feelings, and benefiting people's feelings and benefiting people's morale is not the same as benefiting them, period. And living with that, understanding that it's the loneliest thing in the world. But anyway, I gotta go, man. I gotta drink some tea and then do a reading. Maybe rest a bit. I might have some food in the pantry, I don't know. I might cook something, but yeah. I hope you got something out of that rant at the end. But I'm gonna go, take care, peace and blessings. You know what to do, my fellow TIs. I love you. Bye.